that control, thinking that they love their children. No, that is not love at all. Until we're able to start from as little thing as that, it is then we'll be able to come back to where we are coming from. And also, the issue of material thing. The moment each family places a lot of premium on the material thing, then we can't get to where we are. We should allow the children to value the family first, to value that relationship first, before the issue of material thing. Yes, we all need material thing, but should not be the ultimate in the family.
I want to advise our youth of nowadays to not to feel that everything African is bad, not to think that everything Nigerian is bad. I want to advise our youth to also showcase the good qualities that we have in our own environment, in our own system. Recently, they said some of the artifacts that are taken away from Nigeria, from Benin and Lagos and some Abuja, they took them to Europe. They took them to the UK. If they didn't see something good in them, they would not have taken them away. Today, they are bringing them back and bringing them back fresh. Now, it shows that there are things that we have that even the Western world admire. So I want the youth of today to really know that we are not created to be backward.
Values are important also because they provide a foundation as a source of protection, guidance, affection, and support. Instilling family values can protect and guide children against making hurtful decisions in the future, as values teach a sense of right and wrong. This is because values add to relationships and influence judgments and behaviors. It is largely reported that much of what we do and how we react to various situations and issues is a result of our values. Experts say having solid family values help people make the right choices in life. Yes, parenting can be a challenge with all of the world's influences. It can even be scary. However, the truth is, knowing what you believe in as a parent and what you want for your children will help you raise them to be responsible and conscientious adults. We hope we have done our little part in keeping you informed and enlightened on the issue. Until next time, remain blessed and stay safe. I'm Lydia Sams.
I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it.
Somebody called me that there is a form that people are filling. I should go and fill.
Then I went there, she gave me one, I filled the form.
We are 3 in number, they working together. We got form from federal government.
After 2 weeks, I received a lot of 30,000 naira from federal government.
I used the 30,000 naira to buy so many things like equipment.
The money really helped me. The next week, I went to market. I increased my business.
I thank my president who got touched to give us this such amount. I say, may God bless him.
I really thank the government, the federal government, more especially President Muhammad Buhari, because he is the one that signed the money. I am very, very grateful for them.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria. Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder. No.
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, oh, come patrol. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond 6 packs.
Bills.
Pay the bills. Pay my telephone bills. Pay my bills.
Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it.
Nínú ẹgbẹ́ la wà tá a ti gbọ́ formation tíjọba tó ń ṣèrànlọ́wọ́ fáwa télọ̀ wọ́n nítorí COVID-19.
Wọ́n ní kí n kọ orúkọ àtàkáǹtì tí mò ń lò so mo kọ sílẹ̀ mo mọ́kàn kúrò mo rò pé ó lè jẹ́rọ́ ni nǹkan tá a wá ṣe.
Ju bí ọ̀sẹ̀ bíi mẹ́ta ẹ̀ lọ tí wọ́n gba àkáǹtì nọ́mbà wa tí wọ́n béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ wa yẹn ni wọ́n sẹ́ndì owó sínú àkáǹtì mi.
Ọjọ́ yẹn náà ni mo fi owó kún tí mo dẹ̀ lọ fura fóònù so láti ìgbà yẹn mi ò ní ìṣòro pẹ̀lú àwọn kọ́sítọ́mà mi mọ́.
Òṣèré tó máa gba 30,000 ẹ̀ tẹ́ wàá fẹ́ materials pátápátá tẹ́ ẹ̀ máa ṣiṣẹ́ family àjẹun ìyàwó àtọmọ máa jẹun wọ́n appreciate.
Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ federal government fún nǹkan tó ń ṣe.
President Buhari tells troops of Operation Hardin Kai in Maiduguri to end insurgency.
As your Commander-in-Chief, I want to assure you that this government will continue to work towards the provision of timely funding and procurement of equipment for the armed forces and other security agencies.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo inaugurates the National Advisory Council of Federal Road Safety Code.
An EFCC to prosecute perpetrators of illicit financial activities in the country.
We want to digitalize our process. We want to be transparent enough so that by pressing of a button, we should be able to tell you figures, facts, as well as any other thing that record that we are keeping.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss infrastructural development in the transport sector.
And so finally, the Western Rail Corridor comes alive again. The much talked about 156-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan railway line has been completed and inaugurated for full commercial operations. But that didn't happen overnight. A lot went into it, I can assure you. lot of negotiations, some right-of-way, compensations, natural and man-made hazards, including, of course, weather conditions, activities of vandals, and the unforeseen COVID-19 pandemic all played out during the process. But as the saying goes, all is well that ends well. Isn't it, Yusuf?
Yeah, sure, really clear. It looks like it went on well, and it's all well, therefore. And indeed, the railway corridor is a state-of-the-art facility. The stations are innovative and contemporary, and more so, are environment-friendly. And besides ease of movement for passengers and motorists, it is the kind of infrastructural development that comes with spillover economic packages and business hubs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, one of the things smart businesses rely on is transportation infrastructure. Now, it is described as a glass that reveals civilization. You know what that means, and it brings it closer to you. But what you do with it is a matter of choice. And that choice has eluded Nigerians for so many decades. So much so that road transportation has become the major means of conveying goods and persons to different parts of the country.
Yeah, meandering through traffic gridlock is a routine nightmare for passengers and motorists in parts of the country, clear, but especially those plying the notorious Oshodi-Apapa axis in Lagos. On a daily basis, for instance, an estimated 5,000 trucks from different parts of the country convey goods to and from the Apapa seaport along access roads designed to accommodate far less. Can't you see that?
Indeed, indeed. The Oshodi-Apapa, situation it's appalling. I mean, you need to go there. So I think about a week ago, a friend of mine had to call me. She was worried about her driver, whom she said had gone for hours, but was held up at that junction. But one thing about transportation is that it is not just a matter of deciding where the infrastructure, road, rail, or even airport is to be sited. Most importantly is the connections that the infrastructure will knit together, and of course the barriers it will ultimately break down. And Yusuf, I had my first train ride, on the Abuja-Kaduna rail line only in 2016, and that's when that rail line was completed, and it's the first completed standard gauge railway in Nigeria during this dispensation. And since then, train travels have not only become pleasant routines in our country, but also a lifesaver.
But if I should add clear too, I had mine in 2017, just a year after. that was true from Abuja to Kaduna to and back.
On the same train
On the same train axis, sure. That was a good ride, really. And truly a lifesaver, clear. When you consider how the affluent jettisoned their bulletproof jeeps and Highlanders to use the rail services in recent times. And besides rail, there are vital grounds to celebrate other aspects of transport infrastructure development in the Ministry of Transportation. The inauguration of the Deep Blue project recently is a milestone in securing our maritime environment, almost like a homegrown solution. And let me pause to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria here. And this Friday, I am Yusuf Nadabu Usman.
And just to add that there is much more, so much more that you can never imagine going on at the sleepy town of Oron in Akwa Ibom State. Now that's where the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, MAN, is silently making waves of progress. And so on this note, let me also join my colleague Yusuf to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria, the last edition in the week. I am Claire Adelabu Abdul-Razak, and don't you forget also to connect with us via our Facebook address, which is at NTAGMN, and of course join in the conversation, which is also live on YouTube. The complimentary segments will be preceded by the morning news, business news, and newspaper review will follow in that order. I'll be taking the news shortly. Hello and welcome to the morning news. Several landmark people-centered capital projects executed by the Zulum administration in Borno State have been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. They are part of the nearly 560 projects either initiated or constructed or even completed in critical sectors of the economy. The president described the pragmatic execution of the projects as the best answer to the insurgents that their decade-long efforts at disrupting and destroying critical infrastructure facilities in the area has come to naught.
This effort at alleviating the suffering of displaced communities will hamper the evil efforts of terrorists and insurgents to recruit fighters and spies from IDPs and other vulnerable populations through the use of paltry material incentives.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed Nigeria's defense and security agencies not to allow the nation's adversaries any breathing space to either challenge or undermine the interests and core values of the country in their sustained efforts at restoring lasting peace and stability across the country. Addressing troops of Operation Herding Kai in Maiduguri, the president restated the unalloyed commitment of the federal government to winning the battle against terror and criminality.
While acknowledging your collective efforts at decimating and degrading the terrorists and reaffirming the inviolable sovereignty of our nation, you must therefore remain steadfast and see this war to a conclusive end. I salute your courage and wish you the best as you continue to make Nigeria proud.
And in the same breath, the federal government has expressed formal appreciation to the Shehu of Borno and other members of the State Council of Traditional Rulers for the exemplary leadership, wisdom, and high sense of responsibility exhibited in the past decade when the area was ravaged by insurgency and terrorism. President Muhammadu Buhari made this known during a courtesy visit to the monarchs at the Shehu's Palace in Maiduguri. He says the fact that the royal fathers now operate from their domains is another evidence that peace has been restored to the communities, despite the challenges that remains to be overcome. He assured them, and indeed the people of the Northeast, that the federal government will not relent until peace is fully restored and the displaced persons are resettled in their home communities.
Really, my commitment to serve Nigerians is just to pay back the love Nigerians showed to me.
We remain loyal and we remain committed to the cause of this your administration. Within the last few days, government and people of Borno State have started witnessing gradual return of peace to our domain. This is possible because of your commitment towards the cause of ending insurgency in the entire northeastern sub-region.
We sincerely appreciate and commend the effort of the federal government under your ever leadership towards rescuing us from this terror group whose action or ideology are contrary to any religious belief. We are highly indebted to you, Mr. President.
And away from Borno to other news now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated the National Advisory Council of the Federal Road Safety Commission, involving ministries, agencies, and departments. Also, judicial panels set up across the country on End SARS protests are already turning in their reports. These and other deliberations featured at the virtual National Economic Council meeting held this Thursday.
The Advisory Council will ensure the effective implementation of the strategy which centers on the safe system approach to road safety based on global standards and also the 5 pillars of the Nigerian road safety strategy.
There was a presentation from the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Social Development, and the topic of that was actually on the establishment and management of the assault referral centers.
So very soon, a National Economic Council session will review those reports and point to a way forward. Also, the Council received a report from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the NNPC on the issue of the terminated strategic alliance agreements with an idea of how to solve the problem and move forward.
And the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone found culpable in illicit financial activities in the country. Also emphasizing that, contrary to what has been reported in some media, the Commission will not be deterred in the prosecution of high-profile cases involving some prominent politicians. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrashid Bawa, also says the Commission will be all out to put to an end money laundering as well as end corruption in the civil service.
Digitalize our process. We want to be transparent enough so that by pressing of a button, we should be able to tell you figures, facts, as well as any other thing that record that we are keeping, for the betterment of us and of course for accountability to Nigerians. Asset recovery. From one individual alone, we recover 84 properties. You understand? Hundreds of millions of dollars, left, right, center. You understand? And what is it? So we are working hard. The government have tried.
And on the downside, bandits have attacked Federal Government College Bulin Yori in Kebbi State, kidnapped 5 teachers and unconfirmed number of students. In a swift reaction, the Police Public Relations Officer of Kebbi State Police Command, ASP Nafiu Baka, said a combined team of security forces are in pursuit of the bandits, combing nearby forests, routes, and suspected hideouts of the criminals.
For now, we are compiling our report. We are yet to get the actual figure of the student kidnapped. Notwithstanding, about 5 teachers were kidnapped along the student. That is 4 males and 1 female. Only 1 student who sustained gun injury, and she is rightly receiving treatment at the Nigerian Hospital Yauri.
And the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 39 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The latest figures released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 167,142 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases from 5 states indicates that Lagos recorded the highest number for the day with 34 new confirmed cases. The day's tally is completed by Ebonyi, Ekiti, FCT, Jigawa, and Rivers State, recording 1 new case each. With the latest development, 163,535 total cases have been successfully treated and discharged, while the death toll remains 2,117. And those are the morning news. Don't forget to join us again at 10. I am Claire Adilabo Abdurrazak. Good morning, Nigeria. We'll be on in just a moment.
Dano milk for your family, because 100% of our milk is sourced from our farms. This means that we control the entire production process from grass to glass, taking great care in every step to ensure the milk that gets to you is of high quality, great tasting, and enriched with essential nutrients that are great for your family. Available in Dano Cool Cow, Dano Full Cream, Dano Slim, and Dano Flavored Milk.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets.
Enjoy faster connectivity and amazing discounts in the Airtel HBB seasonal offer. Get a MiFi for 9,999 Naira plus up to 55 GB data, or a router for 19,999 Naira plus up to 160 GB data. Offer valid while stock lasts. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by Airtel, the smartphone network.
He's falling sick so frequently, either fever or stomachache. I keep him away from junk food.
He also feeds me apples. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then also wash your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Meaning?
Germs and disease spread through the hand also. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
The much anticipated UEFA Euro 2021 is finally here. Can Portugal defend the title they won 4 years ago as they face world champions France, Europe giants Germany, Spain, Italy and England? Catch all the action via live transmission, in-depth studio analysis, fixtures, results, updates, and lots more on NTA, Africa's largest TV network. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Bola on 08037044286 or Idris on 08034633644. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by NTA in partnership with Media Business Solutions, MBS Sports.
My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. 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 My culture preaches peace.
Even our religion
Preaches peace.
If our culture preaches peace, remember your culture. Use your voter's card. Vote peacefully
And wisely. We are one.
This message is from the National Council for Arts and Culture.
Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, reaching you live from the studios of the Nigerian Television Authority. This morning we shall be discussing infrastructure development in the transport sector. But for a start, let's get going with Comfort Amadou, who has the business package.
Prior to the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic, World Food Programme estimated that nearly 820 million people were chronically hungry, and the United Nations predicted that Nigeria's population is expected to double by 2050 from its current level of over 200 million people. Considering the status of global food supplies amid COVID-19, export restrictions are needless and could affect food security in importing countries, especially the low and middle income ones.
We encouraged all our farmers to put their hands on deck to make sure that the 200 million mouths that we have to feed are really fed.
Production and productivity will automatically increase to meet the local demand. Farmers will be incentivized to produce more as there will be improved quality seed, access to market, and better prices for their produce.
Farmers have called for strategic measures to reposition the agricultural value chain, covering production, marketing, and ultimately food security to avert hunger.
All right, thank you, Comfort Modu, for the business package. We're moving on. If you've just joined us, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Coming up shortly will be the newspaper review.
Bayo Atuebi is already right in the house. You're welcome, Bayo.
Thank you, Yusuf. Good morning.
Good
morning, Claire.
Yes, good morning, Bayo.
It's Friday.
Yes, it
Good
is
morning,
Friday.
Nigeria.
It's Friday, really.
Friday,
Yes.
and I'm smiling. I'm smiling. Okay, let's get
So what
it.
do you have there? Daily
Yes,
Trust?
yes, Daily Trust.
Okay, let me get going with the Nation's newspaper first.
Go ahead.
Right. Above the masthead, you have 3 stories there, and the first one is on page 3, and it says APC awaits president's nod to fix convention date. APC awaits president's nod to fix convention date. On page 3 again, there's this story. The master, we have this story. JAM generates 5.8 billion naira from UTME forms, page 2. IMF cautions federal government on borrowings, page 8. And the big story. And then the rider is President promises relief for slain soldiers' families, and Zulum gets passback, that is. And then under it, we have this story, EFCC, we recovered 6 billion naira, $261 million, houses in 100 days. That's coming from the EFCC, I guess, from the chairman. Right at the bottom, we have reps to amend NDIC Act on page 8, Nigeria and $34.22 billion from oil and gas in 2019. You get details of that on page 8. Clear?
Okay, Daily Trust, so much about insurgency and insecurity, but the lead story on the front page of the Daily Trust is on the press council, proposed press council bill. And it says presidency reps set to ground newspapers. And the riders that come with that story are quite not palatable. Earning medium to pay 10 million naira, journalist 250,000 naira. Now, the press council asks legislators to discard bill. It's a government baby. House committee chair. Don't infringe on press freedom. IPC and MRA, as well as others, say. Now, this story, you can read it up. It continues on page 5. And there are other stories. Just before I go to the picture story, let me quickly take the trending stories just below the nameplate. EFCC combs Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt estates for loots. We have contained IPOB attacks in Southeast, says the military. Now, how bandits killed policeman, abducted student staff in Kebbi State. And, okay, now the main picture story, which is very, very instructive, is President Muhammadu Buhari with soldiers wounded in action during his visit to Borno State yesterday, where he also commissioned projects executed by the federal and Borno State governments. That event happened yesterday. Bayo, I'm sure this will be your main pick for the day.
Yes, indeed. President Muhammadu Buhari visited Maiduguri yesterday and was received by Governor Babagana Zulum, as well as service chiefs and legislators of the National and State House of Assembly. He was welcomed by a tumultuous crowd that kept on chanting, Baba Oyoyo. His itinerary included visiting frontline troops, commissioning some projects of the Zulum administration, as well as paying homage to the Shehu of Borno. There were a huge cry along the route, so much so that he had to stop to acknowledge cheers from the surging crowd. To troops of the Joint Task Force at Malari Cantonment, he charged troops for more efforts because there is still a lot of work to be done. While assuring the armed forces of more procurement of armament, he enjoined them not to allow criminal elements undermine the sovereignty of Nigeria. He gave assurances that widows and children of those who have laid down their lives will be taken care of. He also visited and empathized with wounded soldiers. The theater commander, Major General Omogui, described the visit as unique and a morale booster for frontline troops. He also visited the Shehu of Borno. He called his visit a homecoming to Borno, where he cut his administrative and political teeth some 46 years ago. He acknowledged and thanked the royalty, parents, guardians, for the very important role of supporting their sons, daughters, husbands and brothers and sisters in going to the battlefield to defend Nigeria's sovereignty, territory and territorial integrity and peace.
Let me just interrupt you a bit with due respect. I know this picture, and I'm very particular about the President Buhari visiting the wounded pictures and implications soldiers. Of that, wounded soldiers. On wounded, soldiers. And implications of that, on the morale of men, and officers, in the battlefront.
Yes, he specifically gave one-on-one attention to a few of them that he had the opportunity to speak to.
Yes.
To wish them quick recovery, and also to assure them that the nation is concerned and appreciates their sacrifices.
A great moral booster.
Yes, that's what the GOC said. But meanwhile, President has also joined in paying tribute to the founding president of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda, who died at 97 yesterday. He described him as a liberation hero and one of the greatest African and world leaders of all time who loved his country and people profoundly. President Muhammadu Buhari said that in a condolence on behalf of himself and Nigeria and to the people and his family and the government and people of Zambia, that he was one of those who fought for the liberation of Africa and for colonialism.
Indeed,
former President Obasanjo has also paid tribute. He said that he described him as gone is the last of the Mohicans, the pioneers and forefathers who led Africa from independence.
The last Mohicans.
You know,
the last, of course.
You know, the world has been paying their last.
There was this headline clear.
No, but I'd like you to speak to the issue of the proposed bill. You were the head of the press council, and this is a bill proposed to amend the Press Council Act.
In fact, the headline, we said President Reps set to ground newspapers, is a misrepresentation of what happened. The House of Representatives had done a public hearing session for 2 days to review bills of 5 entities under his oversight, which included National Broadcasting Commission, National Film and Video Censors Board, the Advertiser Practitioners Council of Nigeria, as well as National Film and Video Censors Board, the National Broadcasting Commission, and the Nigerian Press Council. And the bill there has propositions that were specifically inviting members of the public, including the industry, to come and make contributions for the proposed amendment. Yes, there were proposals for amendments about criminalizing some offenses and punishing journalists. But it was also pointed to them there that regulation of the print media and the media generally is always soft touch. And if you are to hold journalists accountable to their code of ethics, they should not be sentenced by a criminal court for offenses, for just ethical breaches of the code. But be that as it may, there has been need to amend the Press Council Act. And this has been stalled since 1999 because Newspaper Proprietors Association, NGE and others had gone to court. And the High Court ruled that 17 clauses of the Press Council Act was in violation of the Constitution. Yes. However, the Court of Appeal has ruled that no, the Press Council Act is properly constituted and the media can be regulated and the Nigerian press should be regulated.
Vaya, it's very good that you made this clarification. Of course, having been head of the Press Council and all that, and it's for issues of such misrepresentation. The fine is being proposed. But thank you, Bayo. I think that's the much we have time for at this moment. Always wishing you a pleasant weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on Monday, God willing. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Time to take a short break. Don't go away. Don't forget to join our conversation shortly. And our address is right on your screen.
Choose Dano Milk for your family because 100% of our milk is sourced from our farms. This means that we control the entire production process from grass to glass, taking great care in every step to ensure the milk that gets to you is of high quality, great tasting, and enriched with essential nutrients that are great. Available in
He's falling sick so frequently, either fever or stomachache. I keep him away from junk food.
She also feeds me apples. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then also wash your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Meaning?
Germs and disease spread through the hand also. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
Finally, Euro 2020 is here. Enjoy all the matches live on Star Times for only 1,700 naira monthly or 160 naira per day. Recharge now to enjoy all the matches. Watch Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal, Mbappe of France, Lukaku of Belgium, and other top European football stars. No matter where you are, Star Times is here for you. You can enjoy all these matches on your mobile phone. Just download Star Times on app on your phone to watch all the matches for 1,000 naira monthly or 400 naira weekly. Recharge today with 1,700 naira monthly or 160 naira daily. That's right, you heard me. On Star Times, you can watch all the matches with monthly subscription of 1,700 naira or daily subscription of 160 naira. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times, enjoy digital life.
The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
As Oni of Ife, as someone who cares about the well-being and safety of our people, it's time for each and every one of us to realize that COVID-19 is real and it has killed millions of people around the world. Scientists have developed this vaccine. The vaccine is safe for everyone and it contains no microchip, nor can it alter our DNA. However, we must continue to stay safe and stay clean, wear face masks, clean our hands on a regular basis, and try as much as possible to avoid a very large crowd and gathering. For those who choose to be vaccinated, it will go a long way in protecting yourself and your loved ones from COVID-19.
Well, this Good Morning Nigeria is still live on the network service of the NTA to set the tone for our first discussion this morning, which is on infrastructural development in the transport sector. Here is a background report from Ekene Ndulu.
Poor transportation infrastructure in Nigeria has been a major economic bottleneck to the development of industries and exports. A clear scenario of this is the case of Lagos State, where an estimated 5,000 trucks from different parts of the country convey goods to and from the Apapa seaport on a daily basis along access roads designed to accommodate far less. This has put enormous pressure on the roads and has led to economic losses estimated to run into billions of naira daily, hence the need for an alternative and effective means of transportation. Rail transportation easily comes to mind as the most effective mode to stimulate the economy and lessen pressure on the roads. Over the years, attempts were made by successive administrations to revamp the nation's railway system. However, these did not translate to improved train services. The emergence of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 saw a paradigm shift in tackling this perennial problem as he prioritized a number of railway projects for commencement and completion. So far, the Buhari administration has completed and inaugurated the Lagos-Ibadan Railway, Warri-Itakpe Railway, and Abuja-Kaduna Railway. At the inauguration of Lagos-Ibadan double tracks railway at the Mobolaji Johnson Railway Station in Lagos, President Muhammadu Buhari described the project as integral part of his administration's economic policy to make Nigerian ports a commercial hub in the sub-region. Other rail projects in the offing include Ibadan-Kano rail line and Kano-Maradi standard gauge rail line, which is intended to serve import and export of goods for Niger Republic and other countries in the sub-region through Nigerian ports. On the eastern corridor of the country, the Port Harcourt-Enugu-Makurdi-Maiduguri rail line, with branches to Owerri, Imo State, and Damaturu, Yobe State, have been awarded for reconstruction to include a deep-sea port in Bonny Island and a railway industrial park in Port Harcourt. In the maritime sector, Nigeria has achieved a lot with the recent inauguration of the Deep Blue project aimed at providing security on air, land, and sea in Nigeria waterways and the Gulf of Guinea. Ongoing plans to begin movement of containers from Lagos to Onitsha River Port is another effort towards decongesting Lagos ports and improving water transportation by the National Inland Waterways Authority. What else is going on in the maritime sector? What has been the impact of these projects in Nigeria's economy? Guests on Good Morning Nigeria will be giving us the numbers in a moment.
Just splendid, isn't it? Splendid, honestly. And Kenneth, thank you. We'll be giving you the numbers, but not from Yusuf or me. We have our guests here, and luckily or fortunately, we have the Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibike Rotimi Amechi, who is right here with us. I'm sure a very proud man. Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Good morning.
We also have with us Dr. Bashir Jamo, who also is a happy man today, Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration Safety Agency, NIMASA. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Claire.
And from our Lagos Network Center is Fided Ohiria, Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation. It's a pleasure to welcome you and to have you on Good Morning Nigeria this morning.
Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, now let's get going and then see what justice we can make to this topic in the next 2 hours or thereabout. Honorable Minister, let me start with you. Let me start by congratulating you and then saying that you've done a good job. Your office has been very busy these days, at least in the past 3 years, looking at what you have on the table, especially the rail network and a lot of other things like that. Now, Ndulu has said we should be having the figures and the numbers and the rest of them. But before we get down to that, as Clea said, how busy have you been in the past 3 years talking about rail transportation in this country? Give us the numbers and the figures.
I don't know what you mean by numbers and figures as compared to the question you asked about how busy I have been. I've been extremely busy, so let me start with that. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of number, ask the technical people. That would be the G of the Massa and the MD of Railway. They run the numbers. They know how much they get and what they do with this, because they run their agencies.
Right.
But in terms of being busy, if you watch my speech at, I don't know if my publicists would like me to say this. If you watch my speech at Nsukka, you will see that I rushed that speech. I was feeling as if I was collapsing. I wasn't sure whether I was collapsing or I was alive. But I had to rush it so I can go and sit down. When I spoke to my doctor, he said, that's the extreme. I'm pushing myself. I should slow down so that I don't get myself into medical crisis. I'm lucky I have no medical problem whatsoever for now. But the reason for pushing myself is basically I'm employed by the Buhari's government to serve Nigerians. And if President Buhari has thought it necessary that one of the items he needs to deliver is railway, and I've been assigned that responsibility, then apart from the 6 or 4 hours I sleep in a day, the rest should be focused on how to deliver that. Moreover, when he gives you all the support that you have or you need to be able to deliver that. So basically, the ministry is split into 2 major parts, the maritime sector and the railway sector. Even though there's also the land transportation sector, but we're more or less a supervisory agency. The responsibility we share with Federal Ministry of Works. So in the past, what have we done? We've been able to complete the Kaduna Abuja rail line, which was started under President Goodluck Jonathan's government. And as we have also been able to complete the Itabe Warri. If you ask me which is one you would be proud of the most, is Itabe Warri. And the reason why,
really?
I will tell you why. The reason why I say Itabe Warri is that Nigeria would have been the first country in Africa to have had standard gauge if we had completed that Itabe Warri at the time it was awarded. Okay. But it was abandoned for 32 years. So the extra 2 to 3 years we used to complete maybe 34 years. So imagine if we had completed it 32 years ago, or even 28 years ago, we would have been the first country. And if we had continued from where they had stopped, Nigerian government, maybe by now we would have gone around the country. And I continue to ask, if all we need to go around the country is about $36 billion, are we saying that from the time the Itabe Warri started, we would not have had $36 billion to have completed all the rail line in the country? So I am spurred by the enthusiasm of the president, who says, well, Amici, just do your work and let history be our judge. Let us, when we leave government, let them assess what we've done. So the day he, without borrowing, released the fund, or directed Minister of Finance to release the fund for Itabe Warri, I was extremely happy. And we not just completed, we designed it. It was initially designed just as more or less a cargo rail line. Without, you will say, well, what is a cargo rail line? If you put a passenger locomotive on it to carry passengers. But there were no stations. Okay. So we had to build stations, and then we're planning to extend it into the seaport. He has even given us approval to extend it to the water and build a new seaport in Warri. So that's what excites me the most, especially when my brothers in the South criticize me or President Buhari to say, what have you done in the South? And I say that there are only about 2 communities on the Itabe Warri. The rest of them are all in the South, so mostly Edo and Delta. Okay. And so what excites me further is the fact that Nigerians are able to use that transportation from Warri to Itabe for 2,500, and another 3,500 by bus or taxi from Itabe to Abuja. So for those who fly, they were paying 60,000 naira. Now you can come with 6,000 naira and be able to save yourself 54,000 naira. Those who go by road pay about 20,000 naira to something. They're able to save, if they've come by 6,000 naira, they're able to save 14,000 naira. So President Buhari does not need to come to your house and give you 54,000 naira. He has contributed 54,000 naira to your economy or income by reducing that means of transportation. For the one of Lagos Ibadan, as usual, you know our Lagos, as soon as you do something that is right, they are top of the heavens or the moon, screaming how good it is. That same rail, the day the toilets go bad, you will not know that they once praised us. So that's what's fine. But we are proceeding quickly, and the president, by next week, we should be able to see whether he's available to give us a particular day. When I'm the president, I'm talking about his office, that the president will be available to lead the groundbreaking of the Kaduna rail line, which we believe, if we get the resources, we should be able to rush to complete it before we leave office.
When are we expecting that to happen?
Well, the office of the president will give you the date, but we're ready. We're actually ready to commence. But we have to get to the office of the president to give us a date. The president will either come physically or by virtual means to lay the foundation stone or the groundbreaking for the Kaduna rail. But within this year again, we should be able to do Ibadan to Abuja to connect the Abuja. The same year, we should be able to do Lagos to Calabar. And this year, we should be able to start Port Harcourt to Maiduguri.
All of them this year?
Yes.
Okay, let me...
In fact, if we get the approval for the consulting engineers, I would say that we'll commence work this year before the end of August. But we'll have to wait to get the approval for the consulting engineers.
Let me go back to Lagos Ibadan, the 156 kilometers. You were able to personally get the president to be in Lagos to inaugurate that, so which shows the priority and importance, the president holds. Now that you have delivered, and indeed, the Minister of Transportation in his speech described your passion.
Minister of Transportation?
Minister of Information and Culture.
Okay.
Yes, and talked about your passion. Now that you have delivered that rail, what else?
And the passenger will be transferred to Kano, Kaduna now. It's the same thing.
Is that all there is?
No.
Are all the structures, the structural components are all that make up the rail, are all standing? Are they up?
Even if you remove the Minister for Transport today, we'll put a structure in place that, unless you know Nigerians, if you don't go out of it, if you just sit on it, you will just take all the projects through. So even if the reason why I have to visit the different sites where they're working is that most times if you don't go to harass contractors, they sit on their job. So you really have to say, look, this thing called minister, after all, is a human being. Put it aside and be as simple as you can. Go to site, ensure that they keep to targets, hold meetings, give them targets, and insist that the target must be delivered. And then you get help. So it will not just be about Kano Kaduna. Just that for me, what makes me happy about Kano Kaduna is I won't be flying because of the bad weather. So I could drive to Kano in a day and come back the same day after inspection. But we will still be able to go to Port Harcourt, Maiduguri when we start. We're going to start from Maiduguri angle and from Port Harcourt angle. But that really covers up to Wari and up to the whole of Southeast and then to the northeast. I think I'm part of North Central. That really covers more states than any of the rail tracks that we have in the country. So we're able to go to all those areas and at the same time be able to inspect or manage the Lagos-Calabar one, which falls into my zone, which is the South-South zone.
The extension to Apapa Port, does it solve the whole challenge? Yes.
Maritime challenges.
Yes.
It doesn't. It will at least... the day JAMO commissioned the Deep Blue project, you saw that the seaport was empty. It's discipline. Discipline is management and efficiency. If just because the president is coming, in fact, I made a joke with the president. I said, President, you have to be coming every day to Apapa. If that's what it takes to instill discipline on the users of the seaport, then we need to either clone the president and put him... because it's management issue. It's actually somebody just being there and discipline people. No, people who don't have the need to come to the seaport should not come to the seaport. But they just roll in, because it's a security zone. That's what you need to know. People just roll in looking for what to, some pilfer things, steal things and all that. And they have no business being at the seaport. In fact, there's a company near the gate by which the rail comes in. They just park trucks anyhow they like. And I've told the MD of MP, take the people out of that place. They don't have a reason to be there because they're not exporting, neither are they importing. They're just a company they put in the seaport.
And they might have been back by now. Jamo, the Honorable Minister said it's discipline. Discipline on the part of Nigerians and discipline on the part of you as staff and those managing these areas. How do we get this in order to stop the president from coming to Lagos every day to keep that place clean? How do we keep it wild?
Well, I think, thank you very much, Nadabo. The discipline should come from both sides, you understand. If the importers, they try to conduct themselves in a way and manner they're supposed to do, and then the truck owners as well, I think the discipline will be much better. The Honorable Minister mentioned the traffic management and the whole issue. So also our law enforcement agencies should be able to be available on ground to install such discipline. You see, the problem of this gridlock, Nigerians, they like taking advantage of things. If you can go and conduct research on each truck that you see on that queue, you find out that more than 45%, they don't have business to get to the port. What they are doing, I have my truck and I don't have customer that I will go and carry cargo inside the port. Rather than keeping the truck in my own house, I would rather take advantage of the unfortunate situation, go and queue off, so that I will get near to the gate of the port. And if you come as an importer, you want to carry your cargo, you don't want to go and wait for 7 days in the queue. And this car is maybe about 4 or 5 hours remaining for the truck. This thing is happening. is just taking advantage. But I think, as you said, or as Claire mentioned, that the rail line will take certain portion of the solution to the problem, because we are going to reduce the traffic. And now the badges that we are using also, that one also, Honorable Minister mentioned efficiency and effectiveness in terms of our way of managing things within our own port. I think once we install that discipline, we'll be able to get where we're supposed to be. And I think even after the president left, for over 4 or 5 days, such discipline continued to, surface. So I hope we can sustain it.
The expectation was that after the president left, 4 or 5 days, there wasn't so much traffic or gridlock along that line. So Nigerians expect that it would continue, because using the strategy at the beginning, before the president arrived, to the time he came and the time he left, that strategy can be sustained in order to keep that place, safe and free.
Yeah, I think to a large extent I want to agree with you, Nadabu, but Nigerians, some people, they are used to it, getting pre-money through that method. And as you are struggling, as you are fighting to ensure that you sustain it, they are also fighting to sustain their own well-being through illegal ways, through illegal means. But I think those in the hands of affairs, those in the leadership of managing such traffics, they must be ops and doing to ensure that they maintain law and order in such areas.
Okay, Dr. Jamo, I'll put you on hold for a while and still return to the Minister of Transportation, because I know that in the past 6 years, there's been a lot of attention, given to rail transport development, and it's, there are visible grounds, to see the results. 3 standard, gauge rail lines have been delivered. But that is just an aspect of transportation that the Ministry of Transportation is supervising. We have inland waterways, we have mass transit. Can the Honourable Minister speak to us, on what has been done so far in these other areas?
The next area is maritime, the maritime sector. The maritime sector has so many agencies, unlike railway. Railway is just one agency. It has NIMASA, which Jamo is heading. It has the Nigerian Ports Authority, which is headed by Hadiza Bala Usman. It has Shippers Council, which is headed by Hassan Bello. It has CRFF, and that is Council for Registered Freight Forwarders of Nigeria. And then headed by Sam Wakohu. Then you have NIWA, which is headed by George Malo. You can see it's a potpourri of Nigerians. So you have the Igbos, you have the Hausas. You used to have the Yorubas in NIWA when Dr. Mamora was there. That's how we thought it should be. Just get Nigerians to cover it. Now, they perform different functions. He performs, as Dr. Jamu performs, the regulatory function.
For NIMASA.
Which is what NIMASA does. When we came, that wasn't the responsibility NIMASA was discharging. NIMASA became a contract awarding agency. So they're awarding schools everywhere. There was total misappropriation of resources and all that. So we then had to appoint Dakuku. With that Dr. Peter Dakuku Peter said, the responsibility. A regulatory agency, and not where you meet people. I met 2 of my friends. I want to see who they are. The day I was submitting the Kuku's name for appointment, they were also going to lobby the president, they were governors, to allow their people to be appointed in the master. So I said, why are you here? They said, oh, we want to go to appoint our people to the master. I said, you don't know why? I said, dollars. Exactly. So that was the impression they had about the master. But I think that has changed with the coming of Dakuku and Jamu. It's no longer where you just go and take money and do whatever you want to do. It becomes an agency where not I usually say to people that one of the reasons why I was successful as a speaker was, even though we're all equal, I try to live above board. So you don't see me in parties with women, with my colleagues. You don't see me there. You don't see me having to struggle with them for contracts or having to struggle. You can see the discipline in the matter now. You can see the fact that they're able to control what happens in their sphere of authority, which has to do with security and administration.
Has it impacted on
well, I'm coming to that. Why were we in Lagos on the what day was that? 10th. It's to commission. Look at the assets. Those assets, like I said, was bought when President Obasanjo was president. But where are they now? Exactly. There's nothing new about those assets. They've been there. They've been bought before. There were helicopters. There were drones. There were everything. Now, when I was buying, the rent culture of our economy, where people don't care about illegality, came back, fought back. The petition to the president. The president directed EFCC to investigate me. I was investigated by two different panels of the City Council. And for how much? $195 million. But I stood my ground because I know that if you don't sort out insecurity in our water, we move from number 3 to number 1 in the world. If we don't sort out the problem of insecurity in our water, then you will never move in terms of trade facilitation. And that, who bears the cost? The people. So for me, since NIMASA was not a contract or awarding agency, what is critical is that it must discharge its responsibility on about insecurity. So I got the president to approve that they should, with their own funds, deal with the issue of insecurity. Today, it's a success story. Today, NIMASA is in charge of, with the Navy, Ministry of Defense, and this time we expanded it to include the police, the army, and the Air Force. They should be able to clean the water, and that's the responsibility the managing director has. I mean, the DG has to watch what's happening in the water, ensure that we don't have insecurity any longer in the water because it is bombed by our people. That's NIMASA. MPA may not have achieved all the objectives they set out to achieve. Our target as soon as we came to power was that we should be able to clear cargoes by 48 hours and make sure that the seaport is clean. When I mean clean, not by sweeping the place, but by ensuring that you don't have trucks scattered everywhere. You don't have people just strolling into the seaport and going out. Only those who have to do business come into the place, and make sure that people who import or export are able to do that in 48 hours. Were we successful? The answer is no. Why? There are other agencies in the MPA, at the seaport, that you need their participation to be able to achieve that. So you need customs, you need all the other agencies who examine cargoes when they arrive. Now, if those people who examine cargoes are not able to do that in 24 hours, the MPA has no job that can do nothing. MPA can only provide the seaport. But what have they done? Luckily, Customs has gotten approval from the cabinet to buy some equipment that will digitalize the process of clearing. Once that is successful, and with that customs operation, then we should be able to have 48 hours, if not 24. For 4 hours.